Elon Musk just made two big announcements, and one of them is incredibly good for us long-term Tesla stock investors. And then there's another big news story specifically about Tesla, which I'm so excited about, which is also very important. So let's go through everything. Currently, we are going through a very pivotal moment for Tesla, so pay attention. So Elon Musk posted another drug test, and this time it's actually a hair test, which means it's much harder to manipulate. Grok says follicle tests can detect use up to 90 days, while urine tests can cover only up to about 10 days depending on what substance. And Grok expanded a bit more about this subject, saying, I would wager the lab's thorough, but I'm not betting my circuits on it without seeing the raw data. So the only real argument now that's left that Elon does have some sort of a problem with substance is that he's buying the results from this lab, while Elon Musk, being the richest man in the world, obviously makes it more accessible to do something like that. You gotta remember, he's also very famous, and if something does go wrong, everyone is gonna talk about it. So I really doubt that anything really shady is going on here, but that's really the only big argument that they have left, that Elon is basically committing fraud with his lab tests here. And if you remember all of the Tesla shorts that said that Tesla has some major accounting issues and they're committing fraud with their accounting, every single time Tesla shorts had that argument, they got burned. Seeing these results really makes me happy, because previously Elon did say this from an investor standpoint. He said, if there's something I'm taking, I should keep taking it. And Elon Musk on record before did admit that he did take prescription ketamine. And there's been allegations that he has taken other stuff. And like I said in the previous video, I don't think Elon has a drug problem, because before he got randomly drug tested for like a whole year. So while before Elon certainly has taken at least ketamine, seemingly periodically, according to his own statements, it is, however, not at all an ongoing issue. So personally, I am very, very, very happy with that. And now he's asking the journalists that write bad things about him to have them show their drug test results. We got two more big pieces of news. Here's the next one. Elon Musk says it's a money-making opportunity here, specifically about Galley posting Polar market only is giving Tesla a 14% chance of June Robotaxi launch. So he's basically confirming here, no, we are launching this month. And with delays being a natural order of things when it comes to Tesla, it is really nice to hear that we are actually most likely going to get a Robotaxi launch this month, and likely maybe even this weekend. Now the thing was, after Elon posted this, he was like, the chances went up by a lot, so people are betting on this. And then we got actually a bunch of news specifically about how the Robotaxi will operate with fine print and everything. And basically it turns out that Tesla is rolling out the Robotaxi service extremely cautiously, which is good, taking baby steps at first, because we don't want it like an accident or anything like that to happen. Elon Musk confirms this by saying very much so. And quite a few people have now received invitations to take these Robotaxi rides. So it's not going to be just Tesla employees. I saw Farzad got an invitation and Sawyer got his too. There's a lot of fine print. For example, someone will be sitting in the front seat of the car, but on the passenger side, not on the driver's side. You are only allowed 2 passengers per ride. So for example, you got invited to the early access and you can have one more person with you, but that person must be at least 18 years old. And the early access holder must be in the car. You cannot just let someone else take your seat. No, that cannot be done. The service closes from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. So from 6 a.m. to midnight, you can get a ride. You cannot, however, go to airports. Now, there are some people that are annoyed. James, for example, says, so the difference between FSD supervised and Robotaxi in Austin is that the supervisor moves from the driver's seat to the passenger seat in the geofenced area. And yes, Tesla does say in the fine print that it is going to be a geofenced area, but it has not been announced or confirmed yet exactly which area it is going to be. But James says, can't get more baby steps than this. Personally, currently, with the latest FSD version that's publicly available, there's no way I would want to put that vehicle into FSD and then just sit on the passenger side without anyone being in front of the steering wheel. Keep in mind though that I'm talking about the version of software that Tesla is not going to be using. They are using a newer software version, which is almost certainly much better. I'm just saying that it's actually a pretty big deal not having anyone in front of the steering wheel, because if you're sitting on the passenger side, like what can you do? Do they have a way to press the brake pedal? You can sort of steer the car a little bit, yes, but you're not going to have precise control, and it does take a whole, I don't know, a quarter of a second for you to reach to the steering wheel. It's not instant. Under no circumstances right now, with the latest FSD version that's available to me, would I want to just sit on the passenger side without anyone in front of the steering wheel. So this to me does show pretty high confidence from Tesla. And the thing here is, if you are in the Tesla vehicle and you can see what the person in front of the vehicle is doing from Tesla, you can see if they are playing any tricks or not. So I really do like this, that this is not going to be just to Tesla employees only. It's basically opening to the general public, although you do have to be invited. But the people that are getting invited, some of them, they're not all only positive about Tesla always. So I do have trust in some of them to point out something if some games are being played. I'm extremely confident in the long-term execution by Tesla, but in the short term, I always remain skeptical. But what I'm seeing right now, currently, I'm liking it. I assume, however, that every single Robotaxi ride is also going to have a chase car. Now, the moment that goes away, oh, I will start to get really excited. Now, here's some fun fine print to which you have to agree before using the Robotaxi. You are responsible for logging out of any software applications you or any of your guests accessed on the Robotaxi user interface during a ride. So for example, if you forget to log out of your Netflix account, someone else might be watching Netflix using your account. I really don't think that's an issue. It's fine. Dan Ives is really getting excited about all of this here. The golden era of autonomous for Tesla officially kicks off on Sunday in Austin, June 22nd, supposedly. In the emails that Tesla is sending out to all of these early testers, they are specifying June 22nd specifically, so this Sunday, but they also do say that this could be delayed and the date could be changed. But the weather prognosis in the Austin region is actually looking pretty good. So if there is an issue, it's not going to be due to weather most likely. And they also do say in the invitations that if there is rain or something like that, they might not be providing rides to anyone, which for now I have no issue with that at all, because obviously this is the first week, the first month of Robotaxi testing. We want to be as safe as possible, but in the long term, of course, we do want to move away from that, but for now it's fine. That continues. We view this autonomous chapter as one of the most important for Musk and Tesla. I would say right now in recent history, this is the most important thing that's happening with Tesla. And I would say something that is going to be a little bit controversial here, but one of the best things that could happen to long-term investors that are looking to buy more Tesla stock is something going wrong with Robotaxi. Now, I hope and pray that no one is going to be hurt or anything like that. I'm not thinking about anything like that, but I'm just saying, let's say the car just crashes into like an empty building, no one gets hurt, and then the stock crashes, which could happen. In the long term, I believe that Tesla is going to execute Robotaxis better than anyone else in the world. But in the short term, if something like that happens, it would be hard for me to imagine how the stock will not crash significantly. And if it does happen, I will be buying a lot more Tesla stock. Another thing that I do expect to happen eventually is there will be accidents, and more than one, especially when Robotaxi starts to scale and someone is going to get hurt and eventually someone is going to pass away, and that's going to be extremely unfortunate, but that happens every single day in the US. People pass away, accidents happen all the time. So for me, if that happens, it is going to be a sad day, but Robotaxis are still going to progress, and that is the future. Ives continues and says, we believe the AI future at Tesla is worth $1 trillion to the valuation alone over the next few years. I think that is understating it. It's just how soon and how quickly will the rest of the investors are also going to notice that. And then Stephen Mark Ryan asks, how about over the next 10 years? Dan says, this does not include Optimus. Speaks to our bullishness. Hope all well. And he basically called Stephen a goat. I'm not so sure if Dan Ives has seen Stephen's videos, where in the past he really bashed Dan Ives. I think most likely he's aware, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, this is a pretty big compliment, calling Stephen Mark Ryan a goat. Overall, Stephen hasn't made any mistakes with Tesla stock. He just keeps buying. He hasn't sold. And that worked out really well for him. I think for those who are long-term Tesla stock investors, that for sure, definitely 100% certain they are going to hold Tesla stock, and no matter what, they are not going to sell Tesla stock. It probably doesn't hurt to listen to Stephen Mark Ryan. Sometimes I see some negative news about Tesla and I'm like, well, this is not good. And then I watch a video from Stephen Mark Ryan, like, his attitude is always the glass is half full, it's never half empty. My favorite Tesla YouTuber to this day, definitely Rob Maurer. I think his coverage was by far the most balanced. When I would listen to or watch his videos, I never felt like, oh, he didn't cover this negative thing, only the positives were covered. You just had to watch the whole entire video. I think he had the best coverage. I miss Rob very much. Oh, and then in the Robotaxis, at least for now, you cannot have pets. I think that's rather obvious, but makes sense. Now, what's cool about Robotaxis, and I'm very happy to see this actually, that definitely eliminates a big concern of some people. Robotaxi has cameras and sound detection disabled by default to respect passenger privacy. Now, you can turn it on if you would like to, but by default, it is off. The way I sort of think about Robotaxis, it's sort of a public space, but not quite really. So actually seeing that the cabin camera by default is going to be off, makes me so happy as a future user of a Robotaxi. The cabin camera is only going to be activated if you, for example, initiate a request for support, or I imagine if maybe there's a crash. Also, you can know when the camera is on. You simply look for this green indicator on the screen, and that's how you know that the camera is on, which is not really, I guess, quite obvious. I would preferably like to see like a red light in front of the camera. That way I know, okay, it's on. In the perfect world, I would like the camera to actually be like physically blocked if it's not on, but I think I'm asking for a bit too much for that. Omar does have a pretty good point here. Tesla will never be able to run FSD without someone in the driver's seat. Tesla will never be able to run FSD without someone in the passenger seat. And then they're going to say, oh, well, Tesla is never going to be able to run this Robotaxi outside of Austin. What we really meant is they will never be able to run Tesla Robotaxis outside of Austin and California. It's just going to keep on going forever. They will never stop. Now, I think a valid thing that some investors will want to know is Tesla did say that they are going to use teleoperations. Please show us exactly what that means when it's possible to do so. Is this like someone actually taking control of like a steering wheel with like a remote steering wheel, or is it just someone on a screen just telling the car, okay, just go roughly this way? So is it sort of like actually smart summon? I would like to know answers to these questions. However, regardless of that, Tesla is definitely making some good progress currently right now. Oh, and by the way, because you know how Elon has taken these drug tests and tested negative for any test, maybe that's the reason why you cannot do any drugs in the Robotaxi. It is explicitly forbidden. They literally do say this. Using drugs are not permitted. A driverless Tesla Robotaxi will never be released. Gordon Johnson, this is just from 5 months ago. He's saying releasing an untested driverless Tesla car on public roads would be a Tesla bear's dream come true. Well, Gordon, your dream is now coming true this Sunday. I like Omar's sense of humor. Elon Musk passes one little drug test. Well, to be fair, it's 2 tests now. And suddenly, none of us are allowed to do anything in a Robotaxi. And Omar asked a valid question. Wasn't that the whole point of solving autonomy, especially in California, where you can, do certain things? Steven also jumps in with the comment. I'm going to not read this one out loud. But whoever is going to go down that road, do keep in mind that there are cameras in the car, even though technically they're not supposed to be recording. You might, by accident, trigger it. So don't get too naughty, people, in these Robotaxis. And yes, Sawyer did get an invitation officially to go test the Robotaxi, and actually you can take photos and videos of the experience, which I'm very happy with that. I'm pretty sure we will see multiple people recording their whole ride from start to finish, and I do want to see everything from start to finish. I don't want to see any cuts, so please, if anyone records it, please don't do any cuts. So far I know Omar, Farzad, and Sawyer got early invites. And here's one of my favorite posts here. 0% chance of it happens at any scale. Said jerry rig everything. You know, the guy that supposedly says that Cybertrucks don't hold or cannot hold any load, and that whole video was that's such an embarrassment how it was made. He's one of the most biased people against Tesla that I've ever seen. And this one I like even more. This was posted so recently, this month actually, on June 13th. He said that Tesla will never achieve level 5 autonomy. Heck, even level 4 autonomy, never! Feel free to bookmark this. Well, I did, and I'm showing this to you now. Alex is making some big predictions here too. He's calling what's happening right now a paradigm shift and the beginning of the world's largest capital reallocation. Well, those of us who are in Tesla stock, we are going to do pretty well as long as we can hold on to our stock, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be volatile. It's not just going to be all great and just endless glory. We will have some bad days too, I'm sure about that. Don't make the mistake of overlooking this, because it will cost you a fortune, maybe your second. He's calling what's happening right now the second wave, basically. I think this is actually the third wave. If you were a Tesla stock investor from the very beginning, in the very beginning there was an explosion, then it was flat for more than 5 years, very roughly about 5 years, and then there was a big jump, and now we are going through another flat period of time, and I believe there's going to be another huge jump. So really, I would call it the third wave. Now, I became a Tesla stock investor in 2019, so the first wave, there is no way I could have caught that one. That was just too early for me. Oh, and Omar is actually saying that the Robotaxi app will be a separate app initially. And Gally, one of the original Tesla YouTubers, he's saying that 1 billion Robotaxi rides would equal to about 20 billion in revenue for Tesla. And after this milestone, it will seriously move the needle on Tesla financials. And he specified a time frame by which he thinks this will happen. He's basically predicting sometime in 2027 or 28. And look, Steven is not too far off here. As you know, it is currently illegal and punishable by death for an analyst to include any Robotaxi revenue/profits in their Tesla model, since doing so would require analysis and a microscopic amount of about 1 millionth of this much courage, since none yet exists. However, soon, including Robotaxi revenue will be illegal, and you, my dear friends, are likely not analysts. You should probably model this before Wall Street wakes up. And some of them are beginning to wake up. Like Dan Ives, he believes there's an opportunity there. Kathy Wood definitely believes there's a huge opportunity there, but these two are in the minority. Check this out. Tesla is currently listed as a operator of autonomous vehicles at Austin, Texas City Hall, and I do have something that is going to be quite a hard problem for someone to solve. Out of these companies, which one do you think is going to scale the fastest? It is a question so hard that people that went to Harvard, to the best schools, that are fund managers, that all they do is they try to make more money and they manage billions of dollars. The question is so hard that they can't really quite answer it. I mean, correctly. They cannot answer it correctly. Dylan Loomis from Electrified says, I've been criticized for never saying anything negative about Tesla. That's definitely not a valid criticism, but he continues here. But here you go. Tesla has done a miserable job educating the general public about FSD and its capabilities to date. Yeah, definitely, for sure. I agree with that. Cannot tell you how many people I've talked to that don't even know what it is. And I firmly believe if more people knew, Tesla would be selling materially more cars, for sure. I know this older couple that wasn't really convinced about buying a Tesla vehicle at all. And then they were driven around for something like 2 hours. And then they decided to buy a Tesla. Before that, they did not want to buy a Tesla at all. But they saw how well FSD works where they live, and they decided to get the car. That was purely because of FSD. It wasn't anything else about the car, although of course the car is fine and the car is great, but it was purely FSD that sold them. Now, in the long run, this doesn't matter much that people don't know how good FSD is. It will be forced to them eventually. But short term, as someone interested in marketing, this has been an airball. Oh, and lately, Omar has been testing FSD in New York City, and seems like everything is going well here. For example, during this drive with light drizzle, well, there were 0 interventions. Oh, and it drove him from Manhattan to this airport without a single intervention, so that's good. Here's some more good news. Tesla just released a new video of FSD supervised being used in Berlin, Germany. It's pending regulatory approval. So my German friends, you guys will have FSD, perhaps this year. This would be amazing. Oh, I also found out that Chuck also got invited to early access of Tesla Robotaxi, and so did Dirty Tesla. And the AI driver also got access. Now, I think out of everyone that got access so far that I've seen, AI driver, I think he would probably do the best job documenting the whole thing in the least biased way possible. But I'm certainly happy that so many people are getting early access. Joe Tagmeyer, so all the people that we know. And there's some good news for general investors overall, and of course for us Tesla stock investors. The Fed is signaling that they could be cutting rates as early as July, so that's good. They're saying this because unemployment is low and inflation is close to target. Now, those of you who use X, you might soon be able to buy Tesla stock actually on X. This is coming directly from the CEO of X. And X might also finally introduce credit or debit cards, potentially launching this year. The company wants users to handle their full financial life on the platform, transfers, investments, and payments. Also, we are seeing more Tesla Optimus jobs being up, so that's good for that. And then Elon Musk did that interview at the Y Combinator. You can watch it on my channel. It's finally out. And what we learned also that we didn't know about before really, XAI is about to bring online another 110,000 NVIDIA GB200 GPUs in Memphis, Tennessee, bringing XAI's total GPU count to 40,000 GPUs. The largest supercomputer in the world. This is insane. Now, I want Tesla to own a piece of XAI. Hopefully the compensation for Elon Musk gets sorted out as soon as possible, and probably sometime when around when the compensation is going to be sorted out, that's probably, I assume, is when we will hear about maybe some things like Tesla investing in XAI or something like that. And here's some good news for Elon Musk. Neuralink has successfully implanted its telepathy brain chip into a sixth human. This allows Rob to control his computer with just his mind, significantly improving his life. And here Elon explains that in the next 6 to 12 months, they will be doing their first implants for vision, where somebody who can't see right now will be able to see. And they have been doing this with monkeys before, and it worked fine. And they have a monkey that had such an implant now for 3 years. And here, not so good news for Elon Musk. There was a static fire test of the Starship rocket and it exploded. So they weren't even going to launch it. This was just a static fire test, and yet it exploded anyway. Elon explains that preliminary data suggests that a nitrogen COPV in the payload bay failed below its proof pressure. If further investigation confirms that this is what happened, it is the first time ever for this design. Well, definitely it's better to have things explode without people in the ship. So it's good to find flaws like this before we start putting people on these ships. SpaceX has now basically confirmed that's exactly what happened. They also say that there's no commonality between the COPVs used on Starship and SpaceX's Falcon rockets, which is good. Also, it's confirmed that all personnel are safe and accounted for after the Starship static fire test explosion. This is the aftermath of the explosion. Omar does have a pretty good sense of humor. Very heartbroken to announce that I've been let go from my job at SpaceX tonight. I won't go into details of why, but if anyone is hiring in aerospace, please DM Omar. Very highly likely indeed that someone did get fired because of this. After this explosion, I wonder for how long will all Starship rockets be on pause? We will probably not see any new launches for a bit. So this is Elon's reaction to the explosion, I think. It might be referencing something else, but I'm pretty sure it's about the explosion. Oh, Grok actually agrees with me. And then a group of Texas lawmakers sent a letter to Tesla urging the company to delay its robotaxi operations in Austin until September 1st, when a revised autonomous vehicle operations framework goes into effect. However, this does not mean that Tesla has to halt its June 22nd robotaxi service launch. The letter said if Tesla still proceeds with its plans to launch this month, they request the company response to the letter with detailed information demonstrating that Tesla will be compliant with the new law upon the launch of driverless operations in Austin. So I think we are all good here. And these are politicians from the Texas House and Senate, but these are all from the other party. Overall, I'm really happy with everything that's happening with Tesla right now. And I believe that Tesla stock is going to $1,000 per share. And then after that, well above it, my name is Matt Post. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also follow me on my new X account. There's a link down below in the description. And I also upload all my videos now on Rumble. There's a link down below in the pinned comment if you'd like to follow me on Rumble. I'm not 100% sure that I will be able to make a video on Monday, but probably I will see you back on Monday. And if not on Monday, then probably Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt Post, and I will see you in the next video.